In a big setback for Vijay Mallya, the market regulator SEBI has barred him and 6 other United Spirits executives from buying or selling shares in the primary market. Not just that, Mallya has also been restrained from holding the position of a director in any listed company. Kritika joins us now with the details. Kritika, it's fairly detailed. It's a 34-page document. The order, of course, is about 2 pages. But take us through the sum and substance of what SEBI is saying.
Absolutely. Shriram, in this entire 32-page document, SEBI has essentially outlined their entire investigation over the last 1.5 to 2 years. So there are 2 reports specifically that have been taken into cognizance. One is the PwC UK report and one is the EY report. Now these reports, PwC and EY, were allotted to understand the fund diversion, the fund trail, the implications, and if at all Diageo and USL are implicated, the management of USL is implicated, or if Diageo is implicated. So there are many details on exactly how SEBI went about the process. Over and above the report by these 2 companies, they have found very clear evidence of fund diversion, and they do say that Vijay Mallya, it is very clear, as chairman, was directly related. Now, let me quickly take you through the order, which is just 2 pages, but very crucial. First part is they have barred 9 people from trading in any listed companies. These, in fact, include former CFO Ashok Kapoor, of course, Vijay Mallya, the former president of the company, PM Murli. It includes the current commercial operations head of Diageo, Paramjit Singh Gill, and it also includes one of the finance directors, Swami Narayanan. So out of the 7 names, 3 people are still working. I'm still confirming one particular name, Ainapur SR, who I think could have quit. So that's one part, barring them from trading. The other part is 2 specific people from whom there is very clear evidence of fund diversion, which is Vijay Mallya, who was the erstwhile chairman, and Ashok Kapoor. They have been barred from being a director on any of the listed companies. Now, the people named in this order can file their reply to within 21 days to SEBI, and if at all they want a personal hearing, they can ask for it within 21 days. Now, as far as USL is concerned, they have asked USL to report on the steps taken to recover a specific amount within 21 days. Now, that amount they have divided based on the kind of report that has been given. So, PwC UK has said that it's a 655.5 crore rupee diversion, and EY report has said 1,225.2. So, the entire amount of that comes up to about 1,889 specifically. So, they've asked to report on exactly how they have gone about the recovery of this amount. And lastly, Shireen, and the most important point, they have said that there is very clear evidence that the $75 million settlement that Diageo had done is something that needs to be investigated further. No order, but they have said that that is in question, and that has raised serious concerns. That's the exact word that they have used for SEBI, and they will be looking into this and going into a separate investigation on that separately.
All right, Kritika, thanks very much for joining us with the details of what SEBI's had to say. Senior Supreme Court Advocate Gopal Jain is here with us as well for a quick reaction, as well as Shriram Subramanian of InGovern. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us. Gopal, let me start by asking you, this is what SEBI has put out today by way of an order. What do you make of it? And frankly, too little, too late?
Exactly. You've actually taken the words out of my mouth. Too little, too late. And it only shows, look at the severity of the order passed today. If this order had been passed at the right time, if the regulatory intervention or if the regulator had been vigilant and taken these decisions in the nick of time, then we wouldn't have been in the situation we are today. Yet, having said that, at least they've finally acted. And that's why it's very important for regulators not to be sleepy trustees, but to be vigilant. And the whole regulatory process gives them what I call dynamic play to intervene at the right time, the appropriate time. So I think this is a lesson here for regulators in general, that you don't wait for things to get to the last or the 4th stage, but you should do preventive precautionary interventions so that situations like this can be averted in the right, at the right moment.
Given where we are today, Gopal, and despite several summons and directives from courts, Vijay Mallya continues to be outside of India. How hopeful are you about the recovery process of these 1,800 crore rupees allegedly on account of fund diversion that SEBI has asked USL to recover and report back in about 21 days?
Well, Shireen, as you know, there are always 2 parts. There's an order and there's the implementation and enforcement of the order. And unfortunately, the track record in India of enforcement and implementation to ensure that the order actually serves its purpose that track record has not particularly been very, optimistic or very good. So I still have serious doubts on whether they will actually be able to enforce these orders. And the fact that, despite all these proceedings and tightening of the news and the screws, he's still not in India. And if I may just use a loose word, he's sort of on the run, as somebody would say, from the Indian law.
Sure.
Shows again my larger point that you need to have a timely detection and speedy action, which is preventive rather than, after the horse is bolted.
Not
very positive about it.
You're not very positive, but Shriram Subramanian, forget the Mallya aspect of it for just 1 second. What will this mean now as far as Diageo is concerned? Because, in a sense, that's where this story will eventually have to be settled.
No, I think as far as USL is concerned and Diageo is concerned, I think they are seeking a clean break from the Mallya past. While there may have been a settlement of that 75 million, and that may be in question now, and the regulators may try to pursue it. I think there is a complete new management. There's a complete new outlook. I think they want to get on with the future, but obviously some part of the past will haunt them, and this is the $75 million payout will continue to haunt them, though it has happened outside the shores of India. And so it needs to be seen what this one will the regulators hold the regulators have over the $75 million.
Well, those are questions that will require answers. Shriram Subramanian, Gopal Jain, thanks very much for joining us on CNBC TV 18 with a quick reaction to the story.